talking about customer. Okay. Now, in customer, we have primarily the B2C world. All right. And one main difference between customer and all these, they all come under the workforce IAM and they come under the customer IAM. Okay. So the first thing is the whole world changes when you deal with customer. Why? Because login is as frictionless as possible. You can actually cannot afford a lot of friction because it impacts your business. Okay. And then there is one very important thing that you have to manage in customer. Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me? What is that one very important thing that I have to like struggle when I am managing the customer identities?
Customer means like we know like workforce IAM and CIAM, right?
Yes.
Under CIAM again you are saying maybe vendors and like maybe contractors like that.
No, no, these are not vendors. When that is B2B. Okay.
Mm, mm.
Customers are where you are selling your product. Let's say I am a customer for Amazon, where I use the product. That is customer.
Okay.
Okay. So what is that
Mm.
one challenge that I have to face when I am thinking of building a customer environment, which is very simple in terms of the employees or contractors?
Maybe like employees means they will be like internet. Like, we will have some more control because inside the organization. These are outside the organization.
But contractor is also outside the organization, right? But there is one thing that I can
Mm.
use to control here, which I cannot control here.
Okay, maybe like a customer onboarding like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So when you're onboarding, what is that value that you give to employees? The first thing that you give to them
The
Employee
birthright
ID.
rules.
in that email,
Yeah, email or birthright
Mm.
rules.
email domain,
Mm.
right? If there are 100, let's say 1,000 employees, how many email domains will be there?
One domain only.
Single domain, right? In
Mm.
customer, can you control this?
No, yeah, because okay, each customer we need to give separate domain based on them, based on
And you
their
don't even
domain.
know. Could be Gmail,
Okay,
Yahoo, Outlook, any third party email ID, right? So because of which
right.
the whole tenant creation process becomes kind of a messed up thing. Okay. That's one
Mm.
of the main challenge because now why I'm saying that email being such a small thing is going to create a problem because every policy that you build. So ideally what happens uh, whenever I'll be doing any login flows, right? For me, email is one of the identifier. Okay. In the sense, let's say if I'm including contractor, I'll put accenture.com. Okay. And I will give them one flow one, where they have to mandatory put, let's say MFA. Okay. If it is like my company xyz.com, I'll give them flow two. Okay. So max in my policy, I'm managing two email IDs. Okay. But now when you remove this and when you add the customer email, imagine the number of flows you have to put. If again there are different scenarios. All right. So that's where email, and then what we do ideally is we group these email, create them into different groups so that we can manage the access well. All
Correct.
right. So this is
Mm.
one of the main challenge we see in customer. Now with service accounts, no human, primarily everything that you use for server, your bot, robotic process, RPA, all right. All of that you use service account primarily So here you will see the management lies with IGA platform. Same IGA. Again, creation is also IGA and plus PAM. In the customer world, you really need a different cloud solution. Sometimes IGA will not be able to manage, let's say auth zero, those kind of solutions. Okay. Because one reason is you do not need a full scale IGA feature here. Okay. So you don't have to go through the joiner, mover, leaver, access request review and all of this. Customers are never going to request an access. They'll just use one single application. Okay. Now this primarily is managed on PAM. Creation is IGA, but most of the things you do on PAM, from vaulting, keys rotation, auditing, monitoring, inventory, discovery, everything. All right. So one thing to learn from here is always understand that each employee, each user type has their own set of different authorization, flow, authentication, flow, life cycle, audit posture, reporting, compliance, governance, and we should not never assume that whenever we are in a meeting, employee means by default this or contractor means by default this.
Yeah.
So now let's understand. This is where we are coming close to our use case. Our use case primarily is to build a solution or build a diagram which covers about 300 employee and there is no passwordless journey. But when we talk about the 300 employees, okay, the first thing that we should know is where are those employees coming from? So we should know that during this is the case because then IGA has to, if we go directly to IGA, right, then IGA has to maintain these 98 people who have not been selected and do a regular cleanup. But your clean data source is IGA because if a user is created in IGA, they are pushed downstream also to other systems,
Yes.
right? So you cannot be
Mm.
putting bad data. So HR is the first source because it filters out, and then at this process there are some information it is already capturing. Okay, like a lot of things you put. Um, the second thing is informations that you captured includes your first name, last name, personal contact detail, your documentation, and all of this. Right, a lot of documentation. You submit your previous company's offer letter, bank statement, whatever they need. Do you think IGA needs all those information?
No. Correct.
Okay. So that is another source. HR is authoritative because it will collect whatever is needed for you to function in the organization. Because a lot of the time you need those for BGC and different purpose, right? From there, a very set of, let's say, 10 information is pushed to IGA. So because HR, HR is authoritative because of these reasons. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever you both
Mm.
were saying is the process. But my question is, why is that process set up? Why can't I simply go and put everything in IGA, right? These are the main two reasons. Okay. So
Okay.
then comes the LDAP AD. So AD primarily then from IGA gets synced back to Active Directory, the main source of where all the users are residing. Okay. And we'll discuss this in a bit now. Relationship between. Then we have the cloud identity provider. Okay. Or on-prem identity provider. So primarily the single source of truth where we have HR is authoritative, directory sync is derived, and IDP is the runtime. So data is synced from here, and sometimes you have the IGA also in between, and they both are always connected to perform authentication. Okay. Then lever events in HR must auto provision IDP within SLA. Okay, so no orphan accounts should be roaming around anywhere. And attribute ownership, email department, cost center owned by HR, app roles are owned by application team. Very straightforward, simple justification. Okay, so this is where these are the things that HR is having. but application roles are owned by the application team. Now let's go back.